Are you enjoying the life that you've created, or does joy and happiness and fulfillment feel like it's something that's always just around the bend, just out of reach? My name is Heather Feather. I am the owner of Rare Bird Medicine. Today's topic is wishes granted. I did several videos on the 4 elements and then did a video, the last one called The Star, around spirit. And so I'm doing 2 videos now on the 5th element of the magical alchemical formula for manifestation that's been present in the field through many iterations of incarnations. It's present in feng shui, it's present in astrology, it's present in the tarot, it's present in numerology, it's present in many different facets of existence. There's an echo present. And the echo is that we work with the 4 elements, the physical world, our earth, our clay, our bodies, that which is manifesting, our finances. We work with our fire, our ability to illuminate a new idea, our ability to use passion, action, energy, and heat to move towards something we want to see with the clay realm. And with those new ideas, we feed that fire air or thoughts, and we think on those things that lead us to taste a dream. And then it's water, agua de vida, that I believe is the great activator of all of these things that we think on, that brings us the enjoyment and the pleasure. It brings to life that which we'll get to have in this dream. And one of the ways we can recreate or use our recreative abilities if we don't like what we're seeing is to take a look at what we physically manifested and make a list of what we'd like to have be different. What would we like to have be different? And I mentioned in the Star, the beautiful dandelion, it transmutes from a yellow flower into what looks like a moon, and people have for ages been making wishes on those little moonbeam dreams at the bottom of the forest and causing the seeds to blast out like stars, just as we also do in the sky and wish upon a star. So wishes seem to be relegated to these energy balls, to these seeds that can bloom forth more wishes, and almost like a genie, or to these energy balls of gaseous balls in the sky that we've been wishing on for all time. There are echoes in the creation, and Heather is connecting spirit to wishes and wish fulfillment, because when we forget the spirit of what we're wanting to create, we can just chew on the fruits of the 4 elements, sometimes in a matter of not even using our sovereign autonomous energy to be clear about what we're creating. We can spend a lot of attention in the outer world and what others are doing and what others are, and we can spend a lot of attention on things that we can have a lot of emotion about and we can stir the 4 elements with, but then go do nothing about other than just stir our elements up. And Heather works to be mindful. If I'm gonna stir my elements on something, let me make sure it's what stirs my spirit, stirs my soul, stirs the as above, so below, stirs the I and the Father are one, stirs the spiritual component back of those elements, such that I do the work that I came to do. I don't like to be ineffectual. I find it annoying. And so I am tying this 5th element to wish fulfillment, because if I look at my life, most of what has caused me misery is attachment to an idea, a value system, a construct that I felt needed. Like, it's like this, you know what I mean? You get attached to a person, or you get attached to an idea, or you get attached to a manifestation, and then life is kind of the surprise that happens while you're making plans. And I do think that the Buddhists are correct that in being non-attached, like if there's anyone you're stressed about right now, instead of being stressed, just imagine not caring what they think. You might feel less stressed. If you're worried about what someone's thinking of you or what they thought, Heather will do this. I'll sometimes ruminate too much after I move through an experience with a human on, did they understand? Like, oh, was I, because I'm a little out and in body as I speak to people, and I tend to, after I engage, recognize what happened in interactions with me. And it's like, oh, I'm not always fully present. I'm pretty multifaceted, and it's not always helpful, And there is a piece of happiness possibly coming from surrendering to something that's a far better designer than you always has been. There's this fortune cookie that I keep on my fridge that says happiness isn't in having what you want, but rather in wanting what you have. What I have is I've created a type A thymoma. It's a relatively rare type of cancer. And I get to have, I think, maybe 6 sessions of chemo and then have surgery to remove it. And I'm withdrawing. I'm about to go into an extreme hermit phase. I'm just going to go to work, come home, do chemo, and I don't really want to engage. I don't plan to socialize. I just want to withdraw and be focused in my temple and in my wellness. But most importantly, what I want to do is make friends with this experience, to trust that spirit is handing me that which is the perfect right medicine to me. And I want to be in awe and wonder like a child. I often thank myself for creating this tumor. I thank the tumor for being here. I thank it for shrinking and packing up its bags and leaving. It's fulfilled its, you fulfilled your purpose, buddy. You gotta get your suitcase and get out of here. And I've never been through chemotherapy, but I've vomited lots. If you've been in the plant medicine world, you may have had to make peace with vomiting. And I've had stomach troubles my whole life. So being nauseous or having diarrhea or any of the components of what might flush up in the field, losing your hair, having to shave your head. Heather shaved her head. There's a lot involved with the construct of what's called having cancer that, to me, I want to look at it like a child and go, what is this new fresh experience? Like, there are lots of things that it can potentially hand me because I'm doing a pretty intense chemo, but I've never done chemo. It's a new experience for me. And so I'm excited to have it by myself and to have the opportunity to read a book and receive chemotherapy and understand this experience of, wow, we're pretending bodies or illness or disease, or wow, my consciousness has not been aligned in some way, or my heart, or my, how am I working with the elements, and how much am I letting spirit come through, and how much am I trying to tell spirit what to make? I have had, as a human, many phenomenal lovers in this life. I've had tons of orgasms. I've had wonderful lovers. I've been with wonderful people. And Heather Feather can still say, I've never had wish fulfillment when it comes to the beloved, when it comes to the, and a lot of it can be also me. Like, there are periods in my life where I've been like, I don't want to be monogamous. And I have found that greater profundity happens in union when you do allow true intimacy to trickle in. And it can be uncomfortable, but it can be richly liberating and delicious. And so I've had some people in the previous year that were honest with me and were like, I'm not monogamous. And I take a knee to that because, I love the truth. But I had this realization as I stepped into 50, facing this construct of, I'm going to be doing cancer alone. Because to me, this is either for Heather alone, or if I had a partner, it would be me and my partner would be going through it. And so there's a way I'm grateful I haven't manifested that, because they don't have to go through this. So I can go through this by myself. But it's like, as I've been looking at my lack of wish fulfillment, I look at how often I pick up that ball of being in union with the beloved. And it's like, even my human design says I have the propensity in this life to be divine feminine, and I'm not really meant to pursue the beloved. I'm not meant. And so as I've been kind of falling back and allowing spirit to write my story, I'm noticing how often we want to be the creative author of, I'm the author, I'm in control. I got my big girl pants on, I'm painting paintings called my reality. And in Heather's videos, I'm never trying to attack anyone from my past. I'm just trying to take responsibility that I consistently, for 5 decades, I'm single today, I have not created a scenario in which it's like, here it is. I feel like I'm with my best friend and I'm in partnership with somebody. And as I look at my creations, is it possible that I'll have a much greater wish fulfillment and much greater happiness in this life if I can accept where I am right now? Right now, I'm doing this. Can I be like a child and move through the construct called cancer without being dramatic, angry, super sad? Can I be in a state of complete acceptance? Can I be in a state of acceptance about the conversation I had earlier today with XYZ person and not in judgment of myself? Can I be in complete acceptance of this person having any XYZ response if I go to say this? How much of a role does falling into surrender or accepting or allowing what is called your reality to be written for you, how much is that occurring? Or how much are you needing to make your wishes come true. And is that working for you? You can always subscribe to Rare Bird Medicine on YouTube, like and comment there. Always love your thoughts. I'm Moon.